So, this is my first video. I have been given the power to upload 3-minute videos to TikTok, and I've been thinking a lot about what Fiona Lucas said the other day on TikTok, and that is, what can you offer the TikTok community? And I can give writing advice, but everyone's doing much better job at that than I ever could. So I was like, what can I give you? And I thought about it, and what I always have loved doing with my TikTok is uploading like little excerpts. And I thought to myself, what if I read my entire book on TikTok in 3-minute snippets? And I don't know if anybody is going to care to watch it, but I'm going to do it because it'll be a fun project. I worked out I think it's going to take me over 200 TikToks to get this done, but it is what it is. So hopefully you'll come along with the journey with me. My plan is to upload 7 every week, obviously once a day. And then at the end of the week, I will upload the full video on my YouTube channel because TikTok apparently does not like spicy content. So I will skip the spicy content and the TikTok videos, and I will just put that in the YouTube videos instead. The book I've chosen to read is Gabriel's album because I have an audiobook coming of the album in a few months. Well, that's when my narrator's going to work on it. So I don't want to risk like getting any issues that I might do with royalties, so that there's no way I'm going to get a Gabriel's album audiobook anytime soon. Couple of caveats. I am not a voice actor. My characters are American. You do not want to hear me fake an American accent. This is going to be read by me, the author, in my Australian accent. And hopefully that'll be okay with you. I'll try and do some kind of making it sound interesting. Look, just bear with me. Come along on this ride and see if you fall in love with Gabriel and Ariana. And yeah, she's annoying, but she gets better. Trust me. Just trust me. So without further ado, here we go. I am going to start by reading the dedication and also the acknowledgement of country. I put an acknowledgement of country in the front of all of my books because they are written on Aboriginal land. This book is dedicated to Beata because God knows it almost certainly wouldn't have been written if you hadn't hassled me to do it. I mean, encouraged me to do it. Thanks for everything. Acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and community. The Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation are the traditional custodians of the land this book was written on. I acknowledge that sovereignty throughout these lands was never ceded. I pay my respect to them and their cultures and to the strength and resilience of elders both past and present. Chapter 1. The First Song. I'm standing in the corner of a big ballroom with my friends Hayden Vega, Harrison Fletcher and Sebastian Fox on a Saturday night. We're hovering near the stage that we're due to perform on in a few minutes. When we're together, people know us as Cruise Control, the band we formed back when we were teens. All of our instruments have been set up on the stage, and we're chatting with our manager, Cooper Powell, along with our host for the evening, Stephanie Abbott. She's the wife of the Mayor of Chicago and the patron of tonight's charity. Thanks so much for coming tonight, gentlemen. We're happy to be here, Stephanie. It's such a great cause, Cooper replies. I allow my gaze to roam across the room as the conversation continues without me. Cooper is plenty capable of schmoozing people without my help. My eyes land on a beautiful brunette woman wearing a silver dress. I find myself drawn to her and watch her as she gets herself a glass of wine before moving around the room to talk to people. You ready, Gabriel? I'm pulled back to the current conversation by Harrison's question. Sure. I search the room again as I follow Hayden, Sebastian and Harrison onto the stage. She's standing in a group of semi-celebrities now, but I've never seen her before in my life, so I don't think she's famous herself. She definitely lacks the dizzied look I often see on the faces of fans, so I'm assuming that she must be used to this. She's probably grown up in a rich family and is used to fancy charity functions like this one. I take my place on stage in front of the microphone and run through what I'm planning to say as the guys take their own places behind their instruments. I'm used to being the front man and spokesperson for the band, but there is always a part of me that is worried I'll say the wrong thing. Thanks for coming tonight, I begin. We really appreciate your generous donations. One of our own family members had a premature baby at the hospital, so it's great that we can support such a great cause. Hayden's niece is doing so well now, but it was barely a year ago that we'd all been worried for him while we were in the middle of writing our debut album. Our tour starts soon, and we hope you'll all come along to see us live, but in the meantime, please enjoy our set. With that, we launch into If I Were You. It was our first big hit, and it's a love song that I wrote with Harrison about his girlfriend, Heather York. She's one of my best friends and has definitely forced us to keep our feet on the ground as we've gotten more famous. I'm very pleased when I see the woman in the silver dress smiling and singing along to the words. For some reason, this encourages me to perform better. I want to watch her having fun. She's so enthralling as she moves to the music. I just want to stare at her the entire time we're performing. But I force myself to look around at the rest of the crowd too. When our set finishes and we leave the stage, I'm saddened that I can no longer see her as easily. We're off the clock now, and Stephanie meets us at the side of the stage. She encourages us to stick around and enjoy ourselves. We all head to the bar and help ourselves to free drinks. It's quite a while, and many drinks later, that Sebastian and I are standing and talking to a group of society ladies. I'm not sure where Harrison and Hayden have gone, and I haven't seen the woman in the silver dress since I left the stage, much to my dismay. I did cut a check for $10,000 for the charity, though, and Stephanie is telling her friend about it. Can you believe it, Susan? $10,000! Such generosity! That's wonderful of you. Well, thanks. I attempt, as much as I can, to not slow my words. I'm feeling a little bit unsteady on my feet, and Sebastian laughs out loud as I sway slightly where I'm standing. Shut it, Seb. I hiss at him. You're fucking wasted, dude. As we have this exchange, the woman called Susan turns and pulls someone new into our group. Ariana, have you met Sebastian and Gabriel from Cruise Control? It's the woman in the silver dress, and I couldn't be more ecstatic. I'm thrilled to finally meet her, and I hold my hand out to shake hers. No, I haven't. It's nice to meet you. The instant our hands touch, I'm completely and utterly overwhelmed with the desire to take her somewhere private. The longing for her that I've been feeling all evening has suddenly intensified. It's nice to meet you too, Ariana. I smile at her as charmingly as I can. What a gorgeous piece of ass, Sebastian slurs at her. Excuse me? She exclaims, and my alcohol-soaked brain doesn't properly register the warning in her tone or the way she's glaring at Sebastian. She certainly isn't bad to look at, I say stupidly and wink at her. I'm disappointed when Ariana frowns back at me. I wouldn't mind doing more than looking, Sebastian says, leaning toward her and stroking her arm. I'm absolutely horrified by this. Don't get me wrong, I love Sebastian, but I hate the way he treats women. More importantly, I loathe seeing Sebastian touch her at all. I can actually hear you, you know, she says in a disgusted tone. Cheer up, we're just joking. Sebastian shrugs his shoulder as he lets his arm drop to his side. Good. Stop touching her, douchebag. Are you? Well, I'm not laughing. She's glaring at both of us now, and I'm shocked by how disappointed I am by this. If you'll just excuse me, I see someone I need to speak to. With that, she walks away from us toward the exit. Fuck, Seb, why do you have to be such a dick? I snap at my friend. Forget her, what an uptight bitch. Sebastian turns back to the ladies we had been talking to, who seemed pretty much unfazed by the interaction we just had with Ariana, and continues the previous conversation. I seethe internally as I walk toward the bar again. I had my opportunity with that beautiful creature and I'd just blown it. Or Sebastian had blown it for me. I don't really know. My head isn't clear. Instead of getting another drink as I'd planned, I get myself a water. Looking around the room, I see Hayden nearby, scrolling through his phone. Hey dude, I say as I approach him. What's up, Gabriel? Hayden smiles at me. Not much. Seb's fucking drunk as fuck and being a dick, I growl, still annoyed at our friend. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. You are aware that you're drunk too, right? Hayden makes a point of never drinking when we're at a gig. I'm thinking that's probably a solid life choice right now. Well, yeah, I know I'm drunk too, but I'm not being an asshole to people, am I? I see. So who was Seb being a dick and an asshole to? Hayden queries. Just some chick that we're introduced to. I cringe internally as I refer to her as some chick. I don't know what it is about her, but it feels like she deserves a label better than that. That's nothing new. Any particular reason you're so heated about it? Hayden raises an eyebrow at me, looking curious at my reaction. Nah, I don't know. I'm just drunk. I probably need to take a walk or something. Good idea. Hayden smiles at me. I tell you what, I'll go keep Seb out of trouble and you go calm down. Thanks, bro. I clap my friend on the back, take my empty cup back to the bar and ask for another water. I'm going to find that girl and apologize for Sebastian's behavior. I don't want her left with the impression we'd originally made on her. I walk off in the direction that I'd last seen her going in and stride out the big glass doors to head into the garden. There are some people making out on a bench, and I'm pleased to see that the woman here is blonde. For a second, I thought it might have been her. Walking down a marble path, I look around a beautiful garden full of flowers, but can't see her anywhere. I'm about to give up and head back to the house when I see a figure sitting by the pool. It's her. She has her heels sitting next to her and is slowly kicking her legs back and forth in the water. She's leaning back on her arms and her face is turned up to the sky. The silver dress is catching the moonlight. She looks absolutely ethereal, an out-of-this-world beauty that I long to hold. She must be lost in her thoughts because I managed to walk all the way up to her and am standing over her, yet she still hasn't opened her eyes. Do you mind if I join you? I ask, and her eyes fly open immediately. They're emerald green, and I think at once that I've never seen anyone more beautiful than the woman before me. It's a free country, she shrugs her shoulders. I stoop to pull off my shoes and socks, then roll up the legs of my jeans before sitting down beside her with my feet in the water. There's silence for a few minutes, and I listen to her breathing. I'm sure that it's quickened since I sat down. I'm sorry, I say simply, breaking the silence between us. It's fine, Ariana replies, but doesn't say anything more, and I'm compelled to explain further. Sebastian can be a bit of a dickhead sometimes. I turn my head to smile at her. Sorry about him. I like to think I'm a good guy, though, even when I've had a few. Hey, it's your life. You don't have to answer to me, Ariana tells me and shrugs her shoulders again. The silver dress has spaghetti straps, and I ache to push them down those same shoulders. Maybe push the whole dress down further. Shit, I need to focus. She'll be expecting some reply. I know that. It's just that I've sobered up a bit since we last spoke, and I've been trying to find you to apologize. She nods her acknowledgement of what I've said, but again, she doesn't say anything more. I rack my brain for something to say to continue the conversation. So, what are you doing out here on your own? Were you not aware there's a party going on in there? I grin at her, trying to get my thoughts back on track, but I almost stop breathing when she smiles back at me. I'm not much of a party girl. What about you? Shouldn't you be inside chatting to some of your groupies? She raises an eyebrow at me. Groupies? I'm not much for groupies. I prefer someone I can talk to. It slips out so easily, but now she isn't saying anything, and I feel stupid. Or, I pause for effect, someone I can't talk to. This time she laughs, and I breathe a mental sigh of relief as I laugh with her. I'm sorry, I have to be honest, I don't quite know what to say to you. Why is that, Ariana? I ask her. I love saying her name. There's something melodic about it. A beautiful name for a beautiful woman. I've been a fan of Cruise Control since you guys first appeared online. It's all well and good when you're a fantasy, but it's bizarre actually meeting you. Oh God, does she even realize what she just said? You fantasize about me? I can't resist asking her as I grin widely. Not like that, you know what I mean, she protests. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I'd really like you to elaborate either way. Of course, I know that she didn't mean that she fantasizes about me, but now the thought is in my head, I can't let it go. The idea of her masturbating while thinking about me is so erotic that I have to fight an oncoming erection while I try to listen to her explanation. I mean that when you're on TV or the radio, you're just some imaginary person, kind of like a character in a movie or a TV show. But here you're real, and I know so much about you. It's just bizarre, as I said. She chews her bottom lip as she finishes explaining, and looks nervous when she meets my gaze. It's strange having people get nervous around me, particularly her, because I know I saw her talking to other celebrities, and she wasn't chewing her lip when she spoke to them. You didn't seem bothered by any of the other celebrities in there, I blurt out, and hope to hell that she doesn't realize that I've been watching her pretty much all evening. They don't matter to me, she says matter-of-factly. And I do? I need to know the answer to this more than I need to breathe. I want to hear her say that she cares about me. I'm not explaining this properly. I'm deeply disappointed when Ariana stands, walks over to the deck chairs and reclines on one of them. The space between us feels too big, so I follow suit and move over to sit down on the chair next to hers. I'm a stranger to you, right? She asks me. Sure. I agree, though I definitely wish she wasn't. But you're not a stranger to me. I know so much about you. I've watched you on television, I've read about you online, and I've listened to your music. I would say that I could recognize your voice anytime, anywhere, even though we're strangers. To meet someone that you know so intimately face to face is weird. Can you see where I'm coming from? She turns her face to look at me, and I'm disappointed that she's seeing me as nothing more than a rock star. I'm just a man, I tell her, unable to prevent my voice from taking on a scolding tone. I'm a man like any other man. I eat, I sleep, I shit, and I sure as hell find beautiful women attractive. Yes, I'm a musician and I love my job. Not many people get paid to do what they love, and I happen to be one of them. That's just a part of me. It isn't all of me. I'm sorry for prejudging you. She frowns and a pink glow spreads to her cheeks. It's hard not to, though. I guess you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and you probably shouldn't judge a rock star by his reputation. The frown disappears from her face and she grins at me. It lights up her face and I can't help thinking again that she looks ethereal in the moonlight with her silver dress. I have a reputation for a reason. I like to call him Sebastian Fox, I think to myself, and I smile as I continue. It's a part of the image, a part of being a successful rock star, but it's also a facade. I enjoy the perks of my lifestyle for sure, but at the end of the day, I go to sleep like anyone else. In a bed with 1,500 thread count sheets, I'll bet, she teases me, and I laugh. I think you overestimate my celebrity. They're only 800 thread count. I dream of the day I get to sleep on 1,500 thread count sheets. It's why I got into the business to begin with, you know. We're laughing together again, and it's a relaxed, easy silence that falls this time. So, what do you do for a living? I ask her, curious as to what this beautiful woman does as a day job. I've just finished my Bachelor of Business, she tells me. What do you plan to do now? It's funny you should ask. I don't really know the answer to that question, so I've kind of been wondering myself. How old are you? I ask. I'm 22, she replies. Okay, so she's 4 years younger than me. That isn't a lot, but it's certainly young enough that she shouldn't be worrying about the future. You're young. You'll have plenty of time to figure it out. I know. I just worry that I'll take the wrong job and find myself stuck there in 10 years' time, hating my life and thinking about what could have been. God, that's depressing. I look at her and wait until our gazes meet before continuing my line of thought. That won't happen to you. I've known you for 10 minutes and already I can tell that you're as smart as you are beautiful. Have some faith in yourself. She blushes again, but keeps my gaze this time. I love looking into her eyes. Their brilliant emerald colour is unusual, and I find her fascinating. That doesn't stop me worrying that I'm going to make a big mistake. Well, for a start, you're thinking about it. The people who have that life are the ones who never gave it a second thought. They took whatever came along and ran with it. In all fairness, you can't spend your entire life wondering what's behind door number 3. But if you take the time to look when you have the chance, you might be pleasantly surprised. She frowns at me and says, That's easy for you to say, isn't it? You knew what you wanted from your life and you got it. Why would you bother with door number 3? I didn't get where I am without a lot of hard work, Ariana. I give her what I hope is a reassuring smile. I also had a lot of knockbacks, and there were times when I thought it would be easier to quit than to keep beating my head against a brick wall. I can't help thinking about the multiple times that cruise control had almost gone our separate ways, the times we'd struggled to pay rent and keep a roof above our heads. What kept you going? I was passionate about my music and what I wanted to do with it, I answer. As always, I'm grateful that at any given time, there was one of the 4 of us that convinced the others to keep going. Now we reach the crux of the matter. I'm not passionate about anything. Not about anything at all? I can't resist teasing her. God, I hope she's passionate about sex. Well, nothing I can do as a career anyway, she tells me. There's something, though, isn't there? I can hear it in her voice, and I search her face, looking for an answer. I can tell there's something that you would love to do for a living. If you must know, I've always loved creative writing, but it's a hard market to break into, and getting published is nigh on impossible, she sighs. You need to have more faith in yourself. I find myself wanting to read something she's written. Maybe she's terrible, but I feel like she's been well-spoken so far, and I wonder what sort of things she writes about. I wish I could, but I'm practical if nothing else. I'll probably end up putting my degree to good use in some boring office job. That's life for most of us, Gabriel. My name coming from her lips is glorious, but I can tell that she still feels like I'm some sort of fantasy creature. I need more than anything for her to see me as the normal human being that I am. You can call me Gabe. The words fall from my lips before I can stop them, and I'm surprised to hear them. Only my closest family members ever call me that. Certainly not near strangers that I've only just met. I managed to finish what I was saying, but only just. I hope for your sake that you're wrong. Okay, Gabe. Anyway, this conversation is getting depressing. How about this weather? The immediate closeness that I feel from hearing her use my nickname is soothing. I am more than okay with this woman calling me Gabe. It's great weather. I could go for a swim, actually. I laugh as I say it. Too bad neither of us has swimsuits. My head snaps around to face her and she blushes again. That is not your invitation to say, why don't we just go nude, by the way, she clarifies. I would never. I laugh and pretend to be outraged. Though, now that she said it, I wouldn't mind swimming with her, naked with her. Instead, I offer, I was merely going to suggest that unless you're particularly attached to that dress, there's no reason that we couldn't swim in what we're wearing. I wait for her to answer. Will she say yes? I can sense her hesitation, and I'm curious to see how far she will push herself with me. Without a word of warning, she stands up from where she's sitting and walks to the edge of the pool. Ariana raises her arms above her head and executes a dive into the water, leaving me sitting in my deck chair. I smile and stand up as I watch her tread water in the pool. Her dress is clinging to her and her long legs are kicking around in the water, making me wonder how they would feel wrapped around my waist. I take off my shirt and drop it on the chair that I've been sitting in. I see her watching me as I walk toward the pool and dive in. So, do you work out a lot? Okay, clearly she has noticed and appreciated my body. Yeah, a bit. I use it as my time to zone out and get away from everything. Plus, I find the ladies tend to like the muscles. I wink at her. I thought you didn't like groupies. She sticks her tongue out at me. I immediately feel blood rushing to my crotch. God damn what I wouldn't do to have her use that tongue on me. Not all women are groupies or even fans, I tell her, trying my best to keep my focus on the conversation. Trust me, after your tour, pretty much everyone will be a groupie, or at the very least a fan. Your album is amazing. You flatter me. I wouldn't say it if it weren't true, she tells me. It pleases me more than I think it should to hear that she likes our album. Silence falls between us and the noises from the party float on the air toward us. I wonder if the other guys will be looking for me, but I don't really care. I could stay here with her forever and be happy. Where do you get the inspiration for your music? Ariana asks, drawing my attention back to her. Where do you get the inspiration for your stories? I deflect the question back to her. Fair call. How soon will you begin working on your new album? I mentally sigh as the weight of needing to get another album ready falls on me again. Our record label, Sierra Capital Music, is already starting to ask us needling questions about it. There is so much pressure to ensure that whatever album we make is as good, if not better, than our first album. I'll probably work on it during the tour, so we're ready to record by the time the tour ends. Sadly, these days the record labels mostly just care about output. They don't put any time or effort into acts anymore. If you can't produce sales, you're fucked. That must be a lot of pressure. Do you write all the songs yourself? I enjoy her interest. It seems as though she's genuinely interested, and I'm flattered by that. Although it probably has more to do with the fact that I'm so utterly attracted to her that I think that. I write most of the lyrics, sometimes the music as well, but a lot of the time we write the songs together. I excel at lyrics, if I do say so myself. I want my songs to mean something to the person listening to them, as well as to myself. I don't even care if they get the same meaning out of it that I do, just that it means something. Does that make sense? I surprise myself by telling her this. It's a lot more than I'd usually say to anyone, but I find myself wanting to share everything with her. I want her to know my songwriting process, and a part of me wants to impress her too. It sure does. She smiles at me. I often wonder if what I think the song means is the same as what it means to the artist. You'll never know. I wink at her again, unless you can catch them to ask. With that, I swim toward the deep end of the pool, hoping that she'll follow me, and I'm pleased when she does. Once I reach the end, I turn and watch her swimming toward me. She's making a serious effort to try and catch me, and I appreciate her playing this game. That's why, as soon as she almost reaches me, I push off quickly and swim toward the shallow end. She's obviously trying hard to catch me, so as I near the end, I slow down and she's able to grab my foot. I got you! She cries out with glee. I stop completely and she loses her grip on my foot, but keeps moving forward, and I'm thrilled when she ends up in my arms. Who's got who? I ask while smiling in satisfaction. We're both panting with exertion as I hold her. I desperately want to hear her panting for another reason, preferably while moaning my name. I can feel my erection growing, and I'm grateful that it isn't pressed against her. I don't want to scare her away. I should probably get back, Ariana says in a throaty voice. It's getting late, and my aunt might be wondering where I went. Damn it, I have scared her off after all. Of course, I didn't mean to, I stammer, unsure of the right thing to say right now. That is to say that I trail off like an idiot, and we get out of the pool in awkward silence. I see Ariana shiver when we get out of the pool into the cool night air. I can't resist looking her over from head to toe. Her dress is clinging to her in every possible place, and I can imagine how good she would look wearing nothing instead. I'll just go get our stuff. I gesture toward my shirt and our shoes on the deck chairs down the other end of the pool, and she nods while continuing to shiver. I wish I had a blanket or something to offer her. I walk away from her and take some deep breaths while trying my hardest to control my erection. I manage to get myself under control by the time I've picked up our stuff. I put on my shirt as I walk back to her, and we head back toward the main building, her shoes dangling from her right hand. This garden is absolutely beautiful, she says aloud. It is beautiful, and so are you. The words are out of my mouth before I can stop them. She blushes, and I worry again that I'm going to scare her off. I need to stop, but I can't seem to control either my mind or my body around her tonight. So you're going on your first tour. How do you feel about that? Equal parts excited and completely petrified. I'm glad for the reprieve of talking about the tour. This is safe territory for me. Music is my safe haven, far away from the dangerous thoughts that I'm having about Ariana. What part of it scares you? Well, firstly, I'm told that most of the concerts have sold out, which is great for a first tour, but what if everyone hates us live? They won't. Next problem. She says it with so much certainty, and I don't understand how she can be so sure, so I ask her, how do you know? I've seen you live, remember? Your performance tonight was fantastic, and you lit up on stage. I couldn't take my eyes off you. Next problem? She repeats her question. If you're sure, I say, but I'm pleased. She said that she couldn't take her eyes off me, not the band, me. I guess the only other big thing is being away from home for months on end, living out of a suitcase and sleeping in a different bed every night. You must not be getting enough action if you're not sleeping in a different bed every night, she says cheekily, and I laugh. I guess I'm not. Why? Are you offering? God damn, how I would love for her to be offering. I think you've mistaken me for a groupie. I'm not that kind of girl. She scolds me playfully. Believe me. I look her over from head to toe. I haven't mistaken who you are, sweetheart. We reach the house and head into the ballroom to find the party still in full swing. The woman from earlier who introduced her to me gapes at us in our sodden state when she sees us. Ariana? Are you okay? I was wondering where you were. Why are you wet? She frowns at her. I'm fine, Aunt Susan, Ariana says. We just decided to go for a bit of a swim. Well, that's just great. The woman sounds annoyed. I'm ready to leave, and I have to be honest, I'm not thrilled about you sitting on the leather seats in the Porsche with wet clothes. I'm sorry, it just happened. Ariana makes the mistake of looking at me. I grin at her because I know that we must look completely ridiculous, drenched in our clothes, and then we both have to hold back laughter. Goodbye, Gabe, she says. It was lovely to meet you. It was great meeting you too, Ariana. She turns and walks away from me, and I'm surprised by how sad I feel watching her leave. I want to spend more time with her. I want to hear her say my name again. I want her in my bed. This is ridiculous. I barely know this woman. Isn't that the point, though? If we spend more time together, I can get to know her more, and god damn do I want to get to know every inch of her. I run out to the valet area and see that their car is being brought around. Ariana, wait! I jog over to her before she can get in the car. What's up? She asks me with a massive smile lighting up her face. I just wanted to know if you want to go on a date on Friday. I ask between breaths, panting from the dash to catch her before she leaves. Her eyes widen as she takes in what I've said. I thought you were going on your big tour. It doesn't start for another month and a half. Friday's only this week. Ariana hesitates for a moment. I can see her thinking it over, and I'm struck by a very real fear that she is about to say no. The thought of not getting to spend more time with her makes me sadder than it should. Her emerald green eyes meet mine, and something seems to change in her. Okay, sure, why not? She says while smiling her breathtaking smile at me. We exchange phone numbers quickly as her aunt makes huffy noises about wanting to leave. Bye, Ariana. I give her a stiff hug, unsure if this is appropriate or what she wants. See you, Gabe. She smiles at me again and I feel myself melt. Then she's gone. The door closes behind her and the car drives away. I look at my phone, her contact details are still up on the screen, and I open up a message to her. She hasn't been scared off me yet, but just in case, I want her to know how much I want to spend time with her. I can't wait to see you again. I'm pleased when her response comes through seconds later. Me either. Tonight was awesome. Thanks. I've got a date. And that is the end of the first chapter. So I was thinking if I record this in chapters, sessions, record each chapter, and then that will be, I think, an episode for YouTube, and then I will split it up into 3-minute long videos for TikTok. So I hope that you guys are enjoying that. Have a discussion in the comments below about what you thought of the chapter. I need to do an outro. What am I going to say? Okay, well, that's it from me for chapter 1 of Gabriel's album. If you want to read the book before I finish reading it out loud over 25 weeks, I'll leave the link down below for you to get that. I'll also leave the link to the album if you want to read Ariana's perspective. And like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you for chapter 2 very soon. Yes, I look forward to it. Next week. I mean, exactly. Next week. I will see you for chapter 2 next week, where we will go on Gabriel and Ariana's first date. And that's a lot of fun. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.